And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Entertainment live on 1480 AM KPHX in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Dave, alongside Tricia, Eric, and Kathleen. And again, thank you to Sherry Rowe, her husband Kevin, and great guitarists, both Kevin and, of course, Alan.
Yes. And
really enjoyed it.
For our listeners, if you want to see and hear more, Sherry Rowe is SHARIROWE.
And that was, I believe, Johnny Cash.
It was.
Yes.
Wow. And they love Johnny Cash as much as I like Johnny Cash.
Well, I'm sorry, he's a legend.
Yeah, just
yeah. Even if you're not a country music fan, Johnny Cash, you know Johnny Cash.
He's just phenomenal. And our special guest, I call him the technologist. I can't wait for the TV show. Robert Rogers. Robert, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you are more than welcome. And I know Robert, and I don't know what to say. I'm just so impressed with what you know. I've never known anyone that knows what Robert knows, and I can't even describe it.
I want to call him the cyber brain.
Yeah. Well, is that appropriate?
You guys are too kind.
I like the technologist.
Yeah, the technologist.
Here comes the technologist.
He just his mind.
He knows
works
how to understand
in such a phenomenal
it,
way. Yes, it's incredible.
And of course, it's sort of timely what we're going to talk about, security, including emails, and it's timely, I guess, because. Hillary, right? No secret. Clinton has certain. Well, she got cleared, didn't get indicted, however, or recommended for prosecution. But nevertheless, it's good to understand security, despite what happened. They described the FBI director described her as extremely careless. I don't know if that means gross negligence. They haven't been able to figure that out. But
Hillary's not a technologist either.
Yeah.
And so I think she put her trust in the people who built her server and the people who were in charge of that aspect, right?
Yes. Whenever you're dealing with technology, there's always a three-way teeter-totter of function and convenience and security, and they all three can't be at the same level. So, what I understand of that case is pretty much it was a convenience factor, I believe.
That's what you said, I believe, yeah.
Because there is, there's a protocol for government employees to use secured mail servers called CyberNet. But I don't know, are they not allowed to use mobile devices? Are they not allowed to use web-based devices? There's so many, hurdles that you have to either pass or not pass in order to get to the information.
So Robert, I mean, from a we could talk about it from a technical basis and also maybe a lesson, because I think what bothers, anyone, I'm not just going to talk about Hillary, but anyone that doesn't use security in their emails, to have secured secured devices, I guess, or programs or whatever you might call it. If it's confidential, as it was in Hillary's case, and maybe also medical doctors, CPAs, attorneys, that could do some damage if it gets out. So that type of security, what should just a general population do?
Well, you should have the attitude that everything you're doing is being monitored.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's the nature of what computers do by logging everything. I sent an email out, I received an email in, so on and so forth. I mean, there's hackers out there that have these scripts that can take screen scrapes of your screen and send them to another location to see what's on your screen.
Oh, wow.
They can track your mouse movements. They can, record your keyboard strokes and coordinate all that together.
That is amazing. It's getting more sophisticated, it sounds like to me, right?
Well, it's easier more than ever now.
So what do you think the future looks like? I mean, if it's getting easier and easier, and I think we talked about this the last show that you were on, is that, it could be really scary. If someone can get really hold of a power grid or something like that, is that the new warfare?
Well,
you don't need missiles. You could take down a country doing that, right?
It shouldn't be as easy as let me log onto this website and click off for the power grid. There should be security protocols in place where you have two guys physically there to turn the keys at a specific time to turn the power grid off. But it should not be that easy. It should not be designed with that convenience in mind.
Right, but certain countries, I'm sure our country too, they're looking into those type activities.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, so as more and more sophistication comes about, someone's going to probably be able to break that and do something probably damaging, right?
Well, it depends. It's where the weaknesses are along the chain of command of the switch to the device. Where's the weak spot? Where can they exploit it?
And maybe that's why this case with Hillary is so important.
It's very important
because it just shows, at least at one level, as the FBI director said, extremely careless. Let's say pilots, right? Tricia, you're in the airline industry. What if a pilot was extremely careless? That could be highly damaging, right? What if, let's say, the IRS with their computer? I understand they have old computers, but what if that happened and somehow they were able to crash the system? That would cause some chaos, wouldn't it?
Well, if her server were to crash, then what would be the fallout? She just wouldn't have communication.
Yeah.
The worst thing would be for the information on the server to get out to interested parties and use it as leverage for something else.
And that leverage could be sort of blackmail if they had stuff on her, or
it could be company secrets, government secrets. We have no idea.
Well, they did that to Sony, didn't they?
Yeah, true.
And
they espionage pretty much. They got the whole slate of movies and hardware, software, and that was an inside job.
That was an inside job?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know about that. So someone worked there.
Yes.
Actually was able to hack through, or they knew
they had access, and they pretty much gave it out.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. So, but the lesson learned is really very critical, and I'm curious, have we learned the lesson? Perhaps this time, because it's gotten such scrutiny and attention with the Hillary's case,
especially with a high-profile, government official such as herself.
Yeah.
There is, if you have a digital data device that is a target of cyber criminals, it's only a matter of time before they gain access to it.
So let me ask you this. This is not a political show. I'll qualify that right up front. However, just your opinion as a technologist, she had someone that I think got immunity, by the way, who set up the system. Do you think someone in her position should have known that there's got to be other countries looking at her, and if they could hack her system, they would? Is that something someone in the high-level position should know?
That's what she should have understood, maybe.
Yeah.
Because she has to believe she is a target. She is, top 3 targets.
I was going to say, if you're the Secretary of State, that's kind of big.
Yeah, of top government officials around the world. I mean, that's a pretty big place as the planet.
Yeah.
So she's...
Yeah, I would think. And again, we're not doing a political commentary. We're just from a lesson standpoint, in all different industries, other professions have certain restrictions too.
Yeah, and some of those professions, they only really know what they know, and they don't really understand the threat or the dangers of not listening to the guys in the know. Hey, you should really secure this. Well, can you secure it? Well, I can secure it to this level, and then maybe the question would be, hey, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that something was compromised on the data stream with a server of that level.
Yeah. And, this is a story I know that won't go away soon.
No, there'll be a movie about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the movie, but I can't really wait for the reality. I mean, the Republicans already have promised there will be another referral to the FBI on a potential perjury claim. So, I'm just stating what they're saying. So there's going to be a lot of things going on up through the conventions. The debates should be really interesting. I would say. I'm sure that's going to be a question that comes along over and over again, and all the way through the election in November. But it's a good lesson for just regular people. Yourself, myself, Tricia, anyone. Tricia's in the medical field, and I think that has severe consequences, right? If there's some
for HIPAA violations, your personal information, people's health information, everything has to be encrypted, and it's interesting because there's a program. If I'm on my work computer, there's a program that will tell me, hey, we're not going to send this email unless you put encrypt in first, because it appears it may contain HIPAA information. Yeah,
yes.
There's certain keywords and things that it looks for and figures it out. And it's interesting because at the same time as I was realizing that, it was when I was preparing for a family reunion, and the one relative was the one that had to do all of the payment and everything for everybody, and there was about 100 of us attending, and she was very sweet, but unwittingly she sent us all her bank account number on email. On email, so that we could direct deposit the funds to her for the deposit. And then, of course, immediately one of the younger generation said, you shouldn't have done that.
Yes.
But she was trying to be helpful. But, my phone, thankfully, I don't normally order things over the website with my phone carrier, my cell phone carrier. And so a red flag went off when somebody ordered a brand new iPhone on my online account to have it delivered to Florida. And so thankfully they texted me and said, hey, or they called me and they said, hey, did you make this order? And I said, absolutely not. And they said, okay, we're not going to deliver it, but you need to change your passwords and everything else. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how the heck did they get into my cell phone account? And they said it could have been through my Gmail. Somebody figured out passwords. So they go, you need to change all your passwords on everything.
Exactly.
And it makes me wonder, and I know this is a little off your topic of email because that's how it started, but what about like these cars that are going to generate their own Wi-Fi signal? Is that have you heard about that?
Well, it isn't so much they're generating a Wi-Fi signal. I mean, Wi-Fi is a fake term. It's just it's a marketing term.
Okay.
There's not really it's just the wireless spectrum that we transmit data across. But just cars sharing that wireless network to share information as far as traffic, and with these smart cars coming around, and driverless cars is going to be a reality, sooner rather than later. They need to share that information as far as traffic, 20 car lengths ahead or 3 miles ahead, transmitting along the car network instead of another radio network, or just using the cars as the carrier.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd always heard things, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but I'd heard that a lot of, since basically every car now has a computer system.
Yes.
I mean, they've changed so much since back in the day when you had auto shop in high school.
And last year there was a car hacked.
Yeah.
And they could turn the volume up, the volume down. They could increase the gas.
Really?
Well, I mean, you're talking somebody could take control of a vehicle. And the other thing that somebody was talking about, like the electromagnetic pulsing, that if somebody were to set off a big electromagnetic pulse, that it would basically, all the cars would stop on the road. And
every electronic device.
Every electronic device. And we don't always think about how much of our lives, I mean, half of the world's coffee makers have little mini computers in
Correct.
them, right?
They have a clock.
They're not mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like all of a sudden, everything that you depend on is dead. Your form of communication, your form of transportation, electromagnetic pulse,
it's an EMP. Basically, it's what happens when a nuclear warhead goes off.
Oh.
So, but, you have to be pretty sophisticated to set one of those off.
So or
have access to sophisticated equipment that could do
It is
that.
possible?
Well, it's possible. Is it probable? Probably not.
But a nuclear warhead, it has that nuclear aspect that kills people. An EMP wouldn't, or is this just like people's fantasy. I thought an EMP would only affect the electronics; it wouldn't hurt the people.
Well, the nuclear
Unless
the
they
EMP
have, like,
is
a-
the side effect of the nuclear
okay.
detonation.
And they have that right available now? Is that?
It takes a lot of energy to create one of those.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's like remember those whenever people used to store things on magnetic tape,
yeah.
and then you could get the demagnetizer, that magnet with a button, and it would
Right.
hum and it would erase your tapes.
That's right.
It would be that on a larger scale.
But that would be hard to bring down planes and stuff with that.
Well, the planes could still fly; they just couldn't use their electronics.
How did so?
Well, so you would have to have a really good old school pilot who knew how to do all that stuff manually, your hydraulics and everything. And there's so many
The
different
engines
things
wouldn't go
happening
off?
at the same time.
They wouldn't shut down.
Well, you can fly. You know, when you're, I've had friend pilots who would fly and the engine seized up, and they landed in a business complex over the weekend. They got a new engine put in over the weekend, and they flew before Monday.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, as far as these jets, I wouldn't be one to speak on that because I don't really
Could
have
they
that
fly
experience.
without engine?
I know they can fly.
They-
They
yeah.
can fly with at least one engine out.
Correct. Yeah.
How about both
actually,
engines, though?
actually, I think. Well, if it's a 2-engine and both engines are out, it would essentially be a glider,
So it could
which
glide
is
down.
what you would need. Well, what's his name? The U.S. Airways pilot or America West pilot that landed in the Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's for short term, yes, but long term, no. You
Yeah,
know?
as soon as you lose, everything, you need to land. I mean, that's part of procedures.
Right, but it's
Oh.
not like you're just going to drop like a stone.
It can glide.
Right.
Yes.
Because
Until
of
it
the
lands.
because of the aerodynamics.
Yeah.
of
It'll
it.
be gliding
Bernoulli
downward.
effect.
But it's really but the thing is that like everything, the trim and the rudder and all the different parts of the
Yeah, that's-
airplane that are normally controlled by the computer, you would have to manually do.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
not easy.
If it's not because they're attached to pumps which are computer controlled, and
Right. Everything.
if it's not attached to a cable, you're going to have a hard time
Oh.
with all the controlling.
So that could
and
be.
yeah, even your hydraulics to drop your landing gear, it's very, very labor intensive.
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot of pumping that you have to pump, and it's
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine Fred Flintstone with his feet moving the car. It wouldn't work with a plane.
I
wouldn't it?
digressed very far away from what Robert.
No, that
was
was sort of
talking
because
about, but-
I want to talk about the what's it called, the EMP.
Ian?
the EMP.
EMP.
Yeah,
Wow.
it'll turn your phone into a brick.
Yeah, it probably would. Why don't we take a quick break right now? When we come back, we'll continue with Robert Rogers, the technologist. I love how that sounds. That's like I could see you in a TV show, and you're walking in the sort of the shadows and the dark.
Well,
and-
there's been numerous TV shows about it.
Oh, there have.
Yeah, well, number one called The Day After. That was the first one, 1983. Then they had that James Cameron show, Dark Angel.
So that was also
That was based on the pulse that hit North America, so everybody was riding bicycles.
wow.
Um,
Well, let's talk more when we come back from our break. And this is Breakthrough Thinking, 1480 AM KPHX. We'll be right back.
yes.
I'm controlling. I'm composing. I'm the operator with my pocket calculator.
And welcome back again to Breakthrough Entertainment Live, 1480 AM KPHX in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Dave, alongside Tricia, Eric, and Kathleen. Special guest, the technologist. Oh, you like how he said that?
Yes.
Robert
has a great
Rogers.
ring to it.
It does. It really does. I love that. I could see it really a hit TV show.
Welcome to Robert Rogers Technology TV
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Cavalcade.
you know, I can see these people who have like this tremendous infiltration of their computer systems and having Robert walking in as the
Yeah.
technologist,
Fixing them. As
And
he
just
walks by them, they all get fixed.
cleaning house and fixing it and getting rid of all those nasty black hats.
Well, you know,
hackers.
there was a group in in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It was a European group. Over the course of a year, they received $1 billion in funds, and they did it by infiltrating the bank network. They had access to the computers, the networks, the servers, and the security system. So they would watch on the security cameras the employees. They would know when the employees would take breaks. Then when that employee would go to a break or go somewhere, then they would use those employees' credentials to deposit money somewhere.
Oh,
and over the course of a year, it was $1 billion taken out. It's called the Karnak group.
Wow.
Oh, man. What happened to them?
Well, they got caught and they got disbanded.
Wow.
But what happened to the money?
Oh, it's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of James Bond super villain being funded, because between that and the $5 billion that the IRS has paid out, that's enough money for one of those secret layers.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
That could happen.
And no, it's not that it could happen. It has happened.
Did happen.
It has happened.
Ooh.
And probably continues.
And so those guys disbanded from the Karnak, they're not in prison. They're off doing something else that we don't know about yet. And who knows what that could be. In fact, there's a video that kind of got viral a little bit of this guy in Venice. He went to get cash out of the ATM machine, and he noticed a little bit of glue over the card reader. And so he pulled at the card reader, and it came off. And what it was a perfect fit of the card reader that fits over the real card reader, and it had a magnetic stripe.
And it scanned your information.
Scanning the information, and then usually in those cases they have a camera that watches your hand movement to see what your PIN is, and then they'll have some guy come by every few hours or so and pick up both the skimmer and the camera, and then they'll sync the timestamps on those.
Well, I've heard of that being like in the private ATMs that are.
Yes, in fact. Oregon 7-Eleven, as a week after that came out, they found 20 of these ATMs and 7-Elevens that had the card skimmers.
Oh, man. That is so scary. It's hard to believe the sophistication. It's good and it's bad at the same time.
Well, convenience and security, which one do you want?
Yeah.
Well, and those RF wallets, do those work? Those wallets that are supposed to protect your card information because people can scan it.
They do work. They do work because all it really takes is someone with a large RFID antenna to send out the signal, and to pick just pretty much walk by you, because your card will echo that account number, back to their device, and as long as it's capturing data, it can all I need to do is walk by you.
Really?
So what is that? Is that why so many banks and everybody are putting microchips on your cards?
Yes, because the microchip handles the transaction. At the moment of at the moment of the transaction, to make sure your card is actually physically present.
Man.
So all these places that don't have the chip reader activated are putting our information at risk.
Correct. Now there are safeguards for the consumer. You're like liable up to like $50 for some debit cards and nothing for your credit cards, or just some effect. There's secure protocols on the bank's side for us, the consumer, but they charge the merchant for that stuff.
Well, it was interesting because I'm going to give a plug and a shout out to Walmart here. We just bought a house, and I was buying, shower curtains and some throw pillows and some little miscellaneous knick-knack stuff, right? And my home base is San Diego, and then this is my second home. So I used one of my chip reader credit cards at the Walmart, but for some reason it showed up as a grocery store. And so it was like, you just spent $376 at a grocery store. I tell you, I had a text message, I had an email, and then I literally got a phone call while I was answering the text message from my credit card company, which was Barclays, I think, saying, asking, was this you? Because they froze my credit card immediately because they said, wow, you never spend that much money at a grocery store. That's out of character for you.
Yes.
I was amazed at how fast it happened. I wasn't even to the parking lot when I had all of these, texts and emails, and then the phone call happened saying, hey, we're just checking, and it was automated, but it was saying, did you make this purchase? If so, press 1. If not, your credit card has been frozen until we meet.
Yeah.
Reach out to you. It was amazing to me.
Yeah,
how
I had
quickly
that
it
happen to me too. Somewhere my card was used as a gas station, or my account number, and I got a text and an email and a phone call all within 1 minute.
That's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. So yeah, those we want those kind of
that's
businesses and banks to be on the lookout for us. But the information that they use to trend and everything, because that's the other thing. I was again, I'll say Walmart. They told me, they go, if you don't want to have to hold on to all your receipts, you can just download our app, scan your receipt, and it'll keep track of everything for you. And I'm thinking, yeah, but then anybody who gets the hold of that app will have all that information about me.
So I think only have about 2 minutes, but
sorry.
you want to go. No, that was quite interesting, actually. You want to go over the emails and how it goes to spam or
something that people should just keep in mind is email is a great communication tool, but this I just went to a security conference a couple of weeks ago, and one of the startling statistics that came out is that 70% of email is spam.
Wow.
And of that 70%, 23% of that is malicious.
That's unbelievable.
And something to keep in mind about the malicious emails is that I think like 90% of it is new threats not yet discovered or has a signature based against it.
So the current antivirus or whatever spam malware won't pick it up.
It won't pick it up just that quick. They'll pick it up 2 weeks later.
It's scary out there, isn't it?
Yes, very scary. There's 125,000 new viruses daily.
Who makes these viruses?
Well, some of them are old ones, but they have variants of themselves. So it's like virus 1 will have a variant, will be detected, so then it will rewrite itself as virus number 2. And then
the virus actually rewrites itself?
Or virus 1A.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. And it goes up to 127 variants and so on and so forth. So.
And this is the Twilight Zone.
It's computer music.
We gotta
CPU.
I know. That's pretty. What do you call me? No,
it's
I'm
called
kidding.
CPU.
Robert.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure, and we want you on again.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot more to talk about. Do you want to give any contact information out?
480-382-2629 if you guys need a technologist to solve your problems.
And he can, I got to tell you.
Yep.
He's phenomenal. I know, I work with him. Or he works with me. Or he helps us, let's put it that way. And this is Breakthrough Entertainment. This has been a phenomenal 3 hours. Truly fun. But we got to go. Have a great weekend.